themes in my workshop is people bring up about giving and receiving negative feedback. And I wonder what your thoughts are about and your experiences are about receiving negative feedback and what you've learnt about yourself and that experience.
I think I've had two really good experiences with receiving negative feedback early in my career that really set me up for how I treated feedback ever since. So this was right back when I'd just left university, and I was a graduate geologist on an underground mine site, and there was an old shift boss there, and he was gruff, and I'd gone to him with some drilling designs, and I'd been told by all the other guys that, you have to be really tough and you have to kind of be strong and tell him what you think. So I went up to this guy, I said, this is what we're going to do, and he just looked at me and he knew that he had the graduate. He's like, what are we going to do about this? What are we going to do about that? And I kind of went, I didn't know. And I just felt really, really small and stupid. And he kind of gave me a talking to, and after that I was like, oh, no, what am I going to do with this guy? And I thought I'd made an enemy for life. So what I decided to do was kind of take that on board, that he'd made it quite clear that what I'd done it the wrong way, and I hadn't been very open about it. So the next time I designed some drill holes, I took the plans down to him, and I said to him, after our last conversation, what I really want to do is get your feedback on these drill plans before I submit them to be approved. And we sat down and we went through each drill hole together. We worked out where the rig was going to go and where the coals were going to be, and he took ownership of my program in a wonderful way and gave me positive feedback, but I never would have gone to him and asked for that if he hadn't given me the negative feedback to start with. So that was a really key learning for me. So if you take on board other people's negative feedback or any sort of feedback, they will then feel ownership in your projects. They can see that they're influencing you, and that gives them ownership and influence. So that was a really key learning for me. The other thing that I found very, very early was when I was doing my master's degree, and I was doing it part-time here at UWA. And went to a course every 6 months, and every 6 months I'd have to turn up with another chapter of my thesis. And my thesis supervisor at the time made the comment that whenever he marked a chapter of my thesis and he sent it back to me, and it was absolutely covered in red biro, it was an absolute mess, I was a terrible writer, but he made the comment that once he never saw that in my drafts again. And that made me realise that people really do notice whether you take on board what they're telling you or not. And that it seems strange to me that he would comment on that, because it seemed to me that's what you should be doing. But he'd said that was fairly rare. So that made me realise again how important and what a gift, again, this feedback is, even though it feels a bit horrible at the time. If you can rise above it, you can turn it into something that's really valuable.
Thank you. And that's what I want people to start to think about, receiving feedback, and you used the word gift. So if we can see even receiving that negative feedback as a gift, it's an opportunity, isn't it, to stop and reflect on what we've been doing and how we can do it differently. And so both those stories really highlighted that.
Well, I think there's a real your first reaction, and this happens to everybody, is to go, I've been wounded, that hurts, and you kind of go, and then the next reaction is to start blaming the person. He didn't understand me, or he didn't see what happened before, or she didn't know what the background was. And one of the best things you can do is identify within yourself when you're having those reactions, and then stop it and just say, well, okay, maybe that's true, but the other thing is, how can I grow from this and learn from it too? So it's an identification of how you're feeling and naming it.
Lovely, I love it. And also building in that reflection.
Yeah.
Building in that self-awareness. Okay, this stings, this hurts, but let's just stop, let's hold it, let's reflect on what's been really said here.
Yeah.
So thank you for that. So we'll take a pause.